Hi everyone, I'm Gina from Gina K Designs and your host of Stamp TV. Today on Stamp TV, I want to show you a fun card project using our brand new incentive set, You're the Best. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to make this card project. First, you're going to need some stamps, and this is our brand new incentive stamp set called You're the Best. It has all these cute little floral and leafy images and the You're the Best greeting. This one is free with any purchase of $75 or more in one order at GinaKDesigns.com. And our incentive set changes often, so if you're watching this video a year from now, this won't be the incentive set, but the set will be available in our online store for $10.95. So, you need that. You're also going to need some cardstock, and I'm using some of the Gina K Designs heavy base weight white cardstock. I'm also using some of our gold metallic cardstock, and then I'm going to show you a sample that I did using the silver. You're also going to need a card base, and that is also our heavy base weight white. Then you're going to need some embossing powder. And for the card that I'm going to show you, I'm going to be using the fine detail gold. For the technique I'm going to show you and the sample, I'm using some of the fine detail silver. I wanted to show you both options. Then you're going to need, for one of the cards, some Zig clean color markers or any kind of watercolor markers or watercolor paints. The ones that I'm using are green shadow, light blue, and cobalt blue. Then you're going to need some VersaMark, and I have a VersaMark ink pad. I also have an embossing magic pad. This is to remove any static or any oil from the surface of the card so that your embossing powder only sticks where you want it. You can also use the EK Success powder tool if you have that instead. I have some foam squares here. I have a variety of acrylic blocks and a very tiny little silver circle die. This is from the Silver Stackers Circles by Cherry Lynn Designs. I have a mono sand eraser. I just keep that on standby just in case. And then I have a pencil with an eraser and a ruler. To begin, you've seen me do this before in another card project where I wanted to make a wreath design, and I did it all in color. Well, this one is going to be done using embossing powder, so I'm going to do it just a little bit differently, but the basic concept is the same. So I'm going to begin by drawing a line corner to corner using my ruler, and it's going to be a very light pencil line. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite two corners. And then I'm going to do one from one side to the other side, intersecting at the same spot. And then the same thing from the other side to the opposite side, intersecting at that same spot, like that. Now, when I did my wreath design before, I left all the lines on the cardstock, and then after I stamped them in color, I erased them. But erasing over embossing powder messes up the embossing powder. It kind of dulls the shine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase most of the lines, just leaving those lines on the edge, kind of those outer edges, to line things up with my acrylic block. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab a piece of paper towel and wipe away all that excess. Okay, make sure I can see that one there. All right, so now most of my lines are erased, but I can still see them. So let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see them too well enough. Okay. Okay, that should be pretty good. So now my next step is going to be to pick a stamp, and the stamp that I'm going to pick is this little one here with the little leaf pattern. And when I started doing this, I thought, oh, I'm going to make a really pretty little little leaf. Let's see here. We'll start that right about. I'm going to erase that a little bit more. Start that right about here. And I'm going to pick that up on my acrylic block. Now this acrylic block already has lines on it. So I'm going to use this middle line and this middle line as my guide. And I'm going to line those up using the lines that I've drawn. So I'm going to start that right here. I had it upside down. So I'll start that right here. And then I'm going to line up my acrylic block so that I'm going to use the bigger block. I have the same block, but it's bigger. I'm going to line that up using those two lines and pick up my stamp. Okay, so I know that shifted a little bit, but it really doesn't matter because wherever it is on the block, it'll be consistent going around. Now, if you don't have a big acrylic block with grid lines on it, that's okay. Use a square acrylic block and use your ruler and draw two Sharpie lines on it. Then once you're done, you can take a little bit of stamp cleaner or rubbing alcohol and the Sharpie marks will come right off. So I'm going to start by inking this up using some of the VersaMark ink. And I'm going to line that first stamp on those two lines and stamp it. Okay. Now I know you guys can't see this, but I can vaguely see it here. Now I'm going to turn it and I'm going to line it up with these two lines. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it again and line it up again with the two lines. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way around. It certainly is a lot easier when you can see it in color on a video than when you're trying to see it here without the color. But once the embossing powder gets on here, you'll be able to see it very well. So we got to find that line and that line. There we go. And it's okay if they're just a little bit off. Don't worry about that because you're going to cover the center with something anyway. Almost around. And if you can't see where you're going with the watermark, sometimes if you just turn it a little bit, you'll be able to see the watermark shine in the light. And then one more right here. Okay. Now you can do what I did and go all the way around, or you can go halfway around and add your embossing powder and then do the other half afterwards. So now I'm going to add some gold embossing powder. And this was so exciting to me how this turned out looking. It's a beautiful snowflake. Isn't that fun? Looks like I missed a little bit here and a little bit there. So if that happens, I don't have it with me here, but I'll just take my VersaMarker and I'll just draw that in and then it will look fine. You can put the embossing powder right over that. So now I'm going to emboss that with my heat tool. And you just want to make sure it gets nice and shiny. You'll be able to see the shine a little bit better. And just make sure you have good lighting. I have great lighting in here to make things look really nice on camera, but it's very difficult for me to see. It's not optimal work lighting at all. Okay, and then once that is done, you can take your eraser and you can erase the rest of those little lines. Most of you have good lighting like an OT light or something over your desk, and you'll be able to see everything then. Okay. And then sometimes if I have a little bit of embossing powder where I don't want it, that's where I'll use my mono sand eraser. And you can just sand those spots right off. They'll just disappear. It just scratches them right off. Okay, so now I have my snowflake. Now my next step is to grab another little piece of white cardstock, and I'll use this piece right here. And I'm going to stamp this flower image right onto it using a little bit of VersaMark. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my embossing powder. I didn't put that away yet. And add some embossing powder to that flower. Now I can put the rest of this away. And now I'm going to emboss that flower using my heat tool. I really like the fine detail powder for this particular technique. You really get nice detail from that. It doesn't swell up quite as much as the regular embossing powder. Okay, so now I'm going to use an A and a B plate, and I'm going to put that flower on there, and I'm going to cut that out using that tiny little Cherry Lynn Design Silver Circle Stackers die. I'm going to cut that out. I think I moved that a bit. Still think that's not right. Let me stand up and get right over it here. Okay. And if you have trouble with your dies moving, you can always tape them down on the sides with washi tape. That works really well too. Okay, so now I have that cute little center that's going to be the center of my snowflake. So let's grab the pieces for this card. So this layer is going to go onto our metallic gold cardstock layer, and you can see how our gold embossing powder matches so nicely with our gold metallic cardstock. It's a spot-on match. Really pretty. We'll get that lined up. And then this whole panel is going to go on top of my white card base. Like that. And then I'm going to use one of these foam squares, and I'm going to pop that onto the back of that center piece, and that is going to go right into the center of my snowflake. So you can see that's a cute little design that you can do using all of this greenery that's supposed to be for flowers and leaves and things, and make a snowflake. Now let me show you my finished one here. You can see I was a little bit better about embossing on that one. And what I did for the inside, so this is the outside of my card, and I'm going to use this as a gift card holder because I think with a glue dot in the center of up here, I'll be able to attach a gift card, and it's a nice presentation for a gift card. So this is the front, and then inside I just did a couple of the sprigs coming in on an angle, looking like just a piece of a snowflake. And then I used one of the greetings from the Christmas Magic stamp set from our last kit, and that's also available by itself. May your days be merry and bright. And then I would just put a glue dot right here and my gift card here and pop that into one of our metallic gold envelopes, and that would be a really nice way to present a gift. Now, after I made this card, I thought, well, let's step it up a little bit. Maybe I could glitter the whole thing. So I wanted to show you how that looks. Here, I don't know if you could see all the glitter in there. I think that's showing up, but you can see I used all of our frozen glitter in there. And that makes a little stepped up version of this card. So that's kind of fun. And then I decided to do one with silver. But when I got done the silver one, I felt like it needed something more than just being plain. So I wanted to try coloring it. So let me show you what that looks like. I did this using the Zig Clean Color markers. So I'm just going to stamp one little sprig for you on a piece of cardstock here to show you how I got that color combination. So let me grab that same little leaf and we'll emboss this a couple times in silver. We'll do 2. So I'll just do one here and I'll do one right here. And then I'm going to use the silver embossing powder on this. And our silver is so pretty. It matches our silver metallic cardstock perfectly. So you get that same look. Let's just see if I can get rid of that. Okay. So now I'm going to emboss that with my heat tool. And again, you just want to wait until it gets shiny. Doesn't take long. Okay. And then I'm going to use those 3 markers that we talked about. So let's see if I can get in just a little tighter here for you so that you can see. I'm going to start with my light blue color, and this one is called light blue. I'm just going to dab a little bit at the top of each of these leaves. And the thing about these Zig Clean Color markers that I really like is each time you hit them again with another marker, it seems to reactivate the ink color. And so it blends really nicely. You get a really cool look. Then I'm going to use that light green, and this one is called Green Shadow. And I'm going to bounce some of that color right next to it. And remember, with watercolor, you're not really looking for that perfectly smooth blending. You're looking for it to look a little bit watery and almost water stained. And then I'm going to go in with that darkest blue color at the bottom. This just reminds me of those beautiful opal stones, those fire opals. I have a pair of earrings like that that I just adore. It has all these same colors in it, just that fiery look. Then you can go back with a little bit of the lighter green again and blend some of that color. And you can also go in with a water brush if you want and add a little bit of water to it if you want a little bit more watery look. But that is the way that I did the color for that. And you could try different combinations. You can go with the lightest, the green at the top, and then work your way down using the next color blue or the lighter color blue. And then the darker blue. Maybe you prefer it that way, that kind of look. And of course, every time you go over it with water or with a lighter color, it kind of reactivates everything and blends it together a little bit more. And if you've never tried these clean color brush markers, they're pretty fun. They're actually made of a brush. So this is a brush on the top. I don't know if you can see that, but that's an actual brush, like a paint brush. And it's filled with watercolor. So they're very fun. They act like a marker. They also act like a paintbrush, and you get some really vibrant color. And so that is the look that I used for this. So I'd love to know which way you would make your card. Would you do it in silver with all of the different colors? Would you keep it super clean and simple with just gold and nothing else? Or would you bling it up with some frozen glitter in there? Which one do you like the best? Or maybe you like them all. Leave me a comment and let me know. I love to know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed today's Stamp TV video. Stay tuned to Stamp TV for more video projects, and thanks so much for watching.